Greetings, my fellow time travelers. Are you ready to take another trip? Today, we're going to take a look at a very iconic show of the 80s and 90s. Perfect Strangers is a classic 80s sitcom that follows the comedic adventures of Larry Appleton, a reserved and ambitious Chicagoan, and his distant cousin, Balki Bartakamus, an exuberant shepherd from the fictional Mediterranean island of Mypos. When Balki unexpectedly arrives on Larry's doorstep, the two polar opposites are thrust into a whirlwind of cultural misunderstandings, laugh-out-loud antics, and heartfelt moments as they navigate life together in the big city. With Balki being so naive and Larry's neurotic tendencies, the pair learns valuable lessons about friendship, family, and embracing their differences, often with hilarious consequences. From slapstick humor to the iconic dance of joy, Perfect Strangers remains a beloved staple of sitcom history. So it's time to take another stroll down memory lane. So grab yourself a tab, remember that? Get yourself a bowl of Smurf cereal, and let's talk about some surprising things you never knew about Perfect Strangers.
Macho Man Randy Savage, the cream of the crop!
Yards! He scores! The Bulls lead 80.
Girl, your hair's so nappy, Wilson couldn't pick it.
This is Max Headroom.
Are you kidding?
Mypos was created to avoid offending anyone. Let's talk about Mypos, the quirky, idyllic, and completely made-up Mediterranean island that Balki calls home. The decision to create this fictional country was deliberate. The writers wanted Balki to embody the fish-out-of-water trope without tying his character to a specific real-world nationality. Why? Simple. They wanted to keep the humor broad, lighthearted, and universal, avoiding any unintentional offense to actual cultures or countries. From Balki's colorful wardrobe to his unusual customs, like sheep shearing festivals, and that time he talked about the Myposian version of the Tooth Fairy. Spoiler, it involves a goat. The made-up traditions gave the writers endless comedic possibilities. It also made Balki's eccentricities charming and unique rather than stereotypical. Mypos was portrayed as a rural, somewhat old-fashioned place, but it was never the butt of the joke. Instead, it served as a lens through which Balki taught Larry and viewers about the importance of kindness, family values, and staying true to your roots. So while you won't find Mypos on any map, it remains a cherished piece of television history. And let's be honest, who wouldn't want to visit for a sheep shearing festival or two? Mypos seemed like the calmest place in the world. I remember telling myself, when I get older, I'm gonna go visit Mypos. Little did I know, Mypos didn't exist. So, I used to also say, I wonder if people in America could learn to be as nice as those in Mypos. Balki was named after Pinchot's sister's dog. Well, sort of. In 1986, Pinchot told TV Guide that Balki was short for balcony, which is what his family considered naming his sister's dog when they were kids. They ultimately named the pet something else, but Balki stuck. And Pinchot remembered it when producers were trying to decide what to name the character. Okay, this one is a little weird for me. You were gonna name a dog Balcony? Like, where did they come up with that? That's like naming a dog Front Porch or naming a dog Driveway or Garage. Like, who names a dog Balcony? But at any rate, I'm glad they were going to, or else we would not have the great name of Balki, as in Balki Bartakamus. Perfect Strangers is directly responsible for another iconic show. One of the most enduring legacies of Perfect Strangers is its direct connection to another beloved sitcom, Family Matters. It all began with the character Harriet Winslow, played by Jo Marie Payton. Harriet was introduced as the no-nonsense elevator operator at the Chicago Chronicle, where Larry and Balki worked. Elevator operator? Wow, when's the last time you've seen one of those? Her character's warmth and quick wit resonated so well with audiences that producers saw potential for her to take center stage in her own series. The result was Family Matters, a show that not only explored Harriet's home life, but also introduced us to her husband, Carl Winslow, a lovable but stern police officer played by Reginald VelJohnson. The Winslow family quickly became a cornerstone of 90s television. The connection between Perfect Strangers and Family Matters is a great example of how one show's success can spark something entirely new and iconic. It's worth noting that without Perfect Strangers and the development of Harriet's character, we might not have never had the Winslows or the pop culture legacy of Steve Urkel. Yet another show that will be featured here on this channel at some point. Family Matters has to be one of the most successful spinoffs ever to happen. Even though that show started with the show being about Harriet and Carl, we all know who took that show over, and that probably is what caused that drama that happened on that show, which we'll discuss at a later time. However, that show, again, would never have existed if we didn't get the lovable elevator operator in Harriet Winslow. Quick side note, shout out to Laura Winslow, whose real name is Kelly Williams. Her and I went to the exact same middle school at the exact same time. Yep, she's from the DMV. Shout out to her. We here were super proud of her, and she has solidified herself as a Hollywood legend. Louie Anderson was originally cast as Larry. Famous and legendary comedian Louie Anderson was originally casted as Larry. However, producers felt the chemistry was lacking and replaced him with Mark Linn-Baker, who had a better dynamic with Pinchot. I couldn't agree more. I honestly just can't picture this. And I like Louie Anderson. I thought Louie Anderson was funny. He was in Coming to America. He even had his own cartoon at one point. But I just could not imagine him in this role. I think that fate works out the way it's supposed to. And having Linn-Baker alongside here was the primo move. This was one of the greatest moves ever, because anybody else, I couldn't imagine. Or what did the old commercial say? Anything else would be uncivilized. Both lead actors went to Yale University. Bronson Pinchot originally studied painting and acting, while Mark Linn-Baker attended Yale University and their drama school. They are among some other great alumni of Yale. Some other notable actors who graduated from Yale are Meryl Streep, Paul Newman, Sigourney Weaver, Jodie Foster, and Angela Bassett, just to name a few. Man, Yale got it going on as far as cranking out some great actors. It's rough to get into Yale, though. It's also rough to pay for Yale. So I'm glad to see that both of them, their hard-earned money in paying for school, or if they were on scholarship, definitely produced legends in the acting field. This show right here is timeless, and I'm glad that having that education, along with the other people that I named, turned them into the fantastic actors they were meant to be. But honestly, let's be real. These two probably could have went to community college, and we still would have loved it. But shout out to Yale, shout out to them. The Dance of Joy was not always so. The Dance of Joy wasn't just a funny bit. It became a defining element of Perfect Strangers and one of its most beloved traditions. This quirky, high-energy dance performed by Balki and Larry whenever something wonderful happened showcased the show's charm and the unique bond between the two characters. The Dance of Joy was actually improvised by Bronson Pinchot during the early days of the show. He wanted a way for Balki to express his uncontainable excitement and celebration. The goofy moves, which included hopping, twirling, and a playful leap into each other's arms, were an instant hit with audiences. It quickly became a reoccurring gag that fans couldn't get enough of. The dance even gained a life beyond the series. Fans at conventions and gatherings have kept the tradition alive, reenacting the moves as a tribute to the show. Its catchphrase, "Now we are so happy we do the dance of joy," has become a nostalgic touchstone for anyone who grew up watching the series. Even after tapings, the audience demanded that they do the dance. And sometimes this got a little old for those two because they would be very tired from shooting that day or really wanting to go home. However, they loved and cherished their fans so much they did it anyway, tired or not. This is amazing on their part. I would be so sick of the Dance of Joy It will be the dance of sadness at this point. Like, oh, we're about to do the dance of sadness. Hey, 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 hey. It would be the dance of sadness at this point, but that goes to show their dedication to the craft, and they still perform this at times at conventions and stuff when fans really want to see it. That's amazing to me, because the older they get, I'm sure the dance of joy can possibly be the dance of pain, which would be the dance of needing Motrin or Percocet. Tom Cruise warned Pinchot not to do TV. Before stepping into the lovable shoes of Balki Bartokomous, Bronson Pinchot had a memorable role alongside Tom Cruise in the hit film Risky Business. During the filming, Cruise, already on the rise as a major Hollywood star, offered Pinchot some career advice: stay away from television. Cruise's reasoning wasn't malicious. At the time, television was often seen as a step down for actors who aspired to make it big on the silver screen. But for Pinchot, the timing couldn't have been better. After Risky Business, his career hit a bit of a lull, and the offer to join Perfect Strangers came just as he was seeking steady work. He was actually on a show called Sarah right before then, but as fate would have it, that show got canceled, which led him to be able to do Perfect Strangers. See, this is why this is a prime example of advice is cool, but you have to do soul searching for yourself. Nobody else can dictate your path for you. You have to make the best decisions for you. And aren't we glad that he did? Aren't we glad he didn't listen to old Tommy Cruise? Had he listened to Tom Cruise, all of us fans, what would we have now? But I imagine Tom Cruise was just trying to be a friend. He was just trying to look out. And though that worked out for him, that wasn't Bronson's path. And I'm thankful that it wasn't. I'm also glad that show Sarah didn't work out. But if you ever look it up, that show was celebrity packed. It had Gina Davis, Alfred Woodard, Bill Maher. Like it was celebrity packed. But I think it only lasted a season before it got the axe. Check it out. Larry's girlfriend had a famous dad. Cousin Larry's girlfriend, Jennifer, who was played by actress Melanie Wilson, is the daughter of Dick Wilson, who you most likely know as Mr. Whipple from those classic Charmin toilet paper commercials. Y'all don't remember Mr. Whipple? Please don't squeeze the Charmin? Well, check this out.
Ladies, you can't squeeze the Charmin.
But this isn't Charmin, Mr. Whipple. This is new Charmin. Even more squeezably soft.
But
you can see, feel, and hear the difference. See the bigger puffs of softness? But you can feel the difference. Feel how much softer.
Oh, Mr. Whipple. Wow. For all of us Xers, don't that make you feel just a little old to think about Mr. Whipple? That was a while ago. But most of us, if not all of us, definitely remember the Please Don't Squeeze the Charmin commercials. I remember thinking to myself, how the hell am I supposed to know if it's soft, Mr. Whipple? Cottonelle lets me squeeze it. Angel Soft lets me squeeze it. I can't squeeze yours? Bump Charmin. No, actually, I like Charmin. And later on, if you ever saw the commercials, he flipped from don't squeeze the Charmin to actually squeeze the Charmin. Make up your mind, Mr. Whipple. Curly Sue made an appearance in the show. In the 6th season, producers tried the old adding a kid to the show thing. Tess Holland, played by Allison Porter, lived upstairs from Larry and Balki. She was supposed to be a main character, but she only ever appeared in one episode. That wasn't the end of Hollywood for Porter, though. She would go on to become Curly Sue. Do you remember Curly Sue? See? It's the Billy from Who's the Boss syndrome all over again. Except for at least Billy was on for a whole season. Tess, the character Tess, was there for one episode. They pivoted real fast. But I will give Allison Porter this. I loved Curly Sue. She did a fantastic job in Curly Sue. So I guess everything worked out the way it was supposed to. It was one of Lucille Ball's favorite shows. Both Pinchot and Linn-Baker perceived Perfect Strangers as a kind of spiritual cousin to I Love Lucy and The Honeymooners, with physical, character-driven humor that was in contrast to the topical, issue-oriented sitcoms of the 1980s. When the show returned for a second season in August 1986, Lucille Ball told press that they were both just great and that I love those two guys. Pinchot was impressed. He said, "It's like being a watercolorist and having Renoir say, 'Interesting. Good work.'" Lucille Ball, GOAT. She's one of the GOATs of comedy and definitely sitcom comedy. And if she gave them the thumbs up, then there's nothing anybody else should say about that. You cannot hate this show if Lucille Ball loves it, because Lucille Ball has to be one of the funniest people I've ever seen in my 40 plus years on this planet. Like, I love Lucille Ball. And to have her throw such a compliment out right here, in a time period where she was trying to reestablish herself, she was trying to start another sitcom, to give them the thumbs up, that's the ultimate sign off if you ask me. Well, another week, another trip done. What did y'all think? Did y'all like Perfect Strangers? Who was your favorite character? Outside of the two obvious, of course. I liked Larry's boss. I thought Larry's boss was hilarious. What about the facts? Did you know them all? Which one did you not know? See, we try to give you some things that you wouldn't know, not just some obvious things. You can go anywhere and see some obvious things about the show. Like, oh, did you know the show was set in Chicago? Yeah, we knew that. So here, nah, we're not doing the simple ones. We're not doing the ones like that. We're not doing the, I think the easiest layup was the spinoff. Most of us definitely knew that Family Matters was a spinoff of it, but I wanted to give that information for people who may not know the show. But that's our time this week. I appreciate y'all taking another ride. I enjoy the love. I'm thankful for the comments. Keep writing, keep commenting. As you know, I will certainly do my best to write you back. This is a dialogue, not a monologue. And like I said, this is our channel, not my channel. So you know what to do. Class, comment, like, and share, and subscribe. Let's get more people in this family. Gen X is a big generation. We should have hundreds of thousands of people in the family, so let's make it happen. Hey, and we'll get there. Slow motion is better than no motion. So you know what to do. Love you, love somebody else, and I'll see y'all real soon. Peace.